Bam, bam, bam. There we go. What up, y'all?
Yo,
Yo,
All right. Let us see. Let us see here. Go ahead and get this thing started. This is the place where sports opinions collide. Dead in sports. I'm your host, Kenneth B. Joining me on the show, we have Q. What up, Q?
Yo, you can hear me?
Yep. Yeah, we
What's up?
got you.
What's up?
Shelton J.
what's happening, man? What's happening?
Chilling. FIFO 24/7. Glad everything's going well. You're now tuned into the best live sports talk show at night on YouTube. No filter, no agenda. We just talking sports. As we get ready to kick things off, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment. Even if you're watching the show after the fact, man, all that stuff helps us out tremendously. If you're not a member, you can become one by going to join, by going to YouTube, youtube.com/that-is-sports, and hitting the join button. And yeah, that's it. As usual on the Thursday shows, is a little bit more condensed. At least that's the goal. Sometimes we tend to go a bit over depending on the topics that we have for the night. But so yeah, some of you guys might get bonus content. But either way, we're here to do our thing, man, and chop it up with you guys as well. And yeah, call-in show. So I'll drop the link in the comment section on YouTube, in the community section on YouTube, so you guys can check that out there. So yeah, man, let's go ahead and get started, man. Shit, a lot has happened. God dang. For Thursday. Jesus Christ. I don't know if can I say that? Is that allowed?
depends on who's listening, Ken.
I guess so. Woo, man.
They watching.
Yeah. but all right, man. Let's go. What you want to touch on first? Talk about first.
Well, what we got at the top of the topics list? Let's start. Let's start with James Harden, and then let's go into Kyrie. I don't want to. We're gonna be there for an hour for like people who have real passionate things to say. I don't have much to say on the Kyrie issue actually, so let's just start with the James Harden issue. James Harden out with a tendon tear in his foot. Joel Embiid is already battling plantar fasciitis. Philadelphia just lost last night to the Washington Wizards. We just had 2 weeks ago the episode about Doc Rivers asking when is he going to be fired. Now we have this James Harden injury, going to miss a month. Already putting an already depleted roster behind the 8 ball, asking Maxey to carry that much more of a load. What are our reactions? I feel like the season's pretty much done, and I'll go last. But anyone else?
Already done, Q?
Already done.
We're not even 12 games in.
No, it's over.
Why is it done?
I think it's over because this is the one thing you cannot have happen if you are coming back from an already really 2-year recovery within a hamstring injury. And this does not bode well for having to favor other parts of your body when you come back, already trying to rehab the other shit. And then on top of this, you're already going to be 32, 33. Joel has plantar fasciitis. Doc Rivers is a terrible coach. The bench is not amazingly coached. I think the team is capped out. I really do believe that. Like, this doesn't bode well for James Harden to feel like, he can get healthier after this. The hamstring should have been the last thing, but if this is going to be continuous lingering injuries, we can't have him rehab miss a month, miss a month. That's not going to happen. Body can't hold up.
That's the thing about soft tissue injuries. Like, it's always going to be recurring, right? And you know how we know every part of the body is interconnected. Once, like you said, once something goes, you're going to start favoring other things and things like that. So I don't think it's all the way over. I don't think the season's over. I think James can't come back from it. Obviously, they're going to have to load manage and things of that nature. But I think the one light in this whole thing is Maxey is gonna obviously be the Maxey show. And I always talk about young players, like you got to give them play time, number one. Number two, you got to give them playoff experience, you know what I'm saying, to expedite that growth. He had that last season, making the playoffs. But at the end of the day, I'm not willing to jump ship like UQ. I think that team, they can stay afloat, and if they can get healthier, closer, to the middle, of the season, they could potentially make a push, and I think that they would be a scary 8-7-6 seed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the type of team that you want to play in that first round when you're a higher rated team, especially if they're healthy, right? Like, if they can find a groove. Now, I know Nick is not on the show, and this is not any type of grown man juice. This is little kid apple juice. But if was a fifth, we all be drunk. But I think that they do possess the possibility of, you know what I'm saying, making it and being okay. But we'll see.
That was the same thing I said in the chat earlier today, FIFO, is now we get a chance to see Maxey featured. Mm-hmm. So I thought, for me, and like I told you when this trade was made, I never really liked James Harden like that there anyway. So to be honest with you, it can be, which we don't know what we're going to get at this point, but it can be addition by subtraction, meaning you see more ball movement, you see more involvement from other guys. You just see people stepping up in places. I'm not willing to give up on them quite yet until I see what this new look looks like for the next couple of weeks. So right. It can be a positive to take that ball out of James Harden's hands for a little bit.
Right. How about you, Ken?
Yeah, I don't think it's over, man. Maxey still is a talent. Those type of injuries can linger. But I still think they'll ultimately end up being a playoff team. But that's not what they want to be. They want to be title contenders and stuff like that. So being a playoff team won't be enough. So if we're looking at it from that standpoint, then yeah, the season is over. Because it's just going to end, in failure, second round or first round failure, as it always does. So yeah, but if that's how we look at it, then yeah, you're right. But if we just look at them being a winning team, then at least they'll be able to do that.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I'm coming from. As a Sixers fan, this team was put together as this is the window. Joel's never going to be this healthy again. And this is the time to make Eastern Conference Finals push. Time to go for the ring now. And I think that very sober-minded, the way I'm going to say this. But this team, I believe, with this injury, this is just going to be a long, gruesome process of us coming to where I'm at right now, in that we're going to have to just clear the deck and build around Maxey. Because Joel Embiid is never going to be fully healthy during a playoff run. And if he is, then James Harden won't be. And if James Harden and Joel Embiid are, then Maxey won't be. And the probability of all three of them ever being fully healthy through an entire run to be enough to get a ring, probability is low as hell. So with this injury on top of an aging point guard who already had his mobility cut by like 30-40% last season, coming back to what he is now, he's still one of the better point guards in the league, but this takes years off of your career, dude, because it's not going to be the last one. And it's going to be every season now of every James Harden tweaked the hamstring. Oh, James Harden tweaked the calf muscle. James Harden tweaked the blah, blah, blah. Hey, James Harden, hey, he's going to be out for 6 weeks with soreness. It's going to be like this. It's going to be the Kawhi thing over and over again. Joel Embiid with plantar fasciitis. That doesn't look good. That's not – I've had that for 2 years now. I've had that for 2 years now. I don't play in the NBA. I don't have to guard Nikola Jokic. Joel Embiid does. That does not bode well for him. So as far as I'm concerned, Doc Rivers going to have to go. We'll have to trade a whole bunch of pieces. And then everyone's going to have to come to Jesus where I'm at, because there's no ceiling here anymore. There's no ceiling here anymore. Embiid cannot carry this team because he's out of position. The game has transgressed. It has transformed past the need for an offense to be featuring a big like this.
I disagree, Q. I disagree. I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter the position. A dominant player is a dominant player. And I think it's the character and the personality that allows you to build around somebody, or they just are a piece. I think Joel, character-wise, is a piece, but basketball-wise, he's what you build around, right? Because he's just that dominant player. Now, with the plantar fasciitis, bro, I've had it in the past. And just like you, I don't play in the NBA. And let me tell you, when you wake up, that thing hurts. Like it hurts, and it hurts all the time, especially if you're trying to play professional sports, right? Obviously their medical staff and the things that they have access to is way beyond what us normal people have access to. But I agree with you in terms of like the championship window. I think they'll, as long as you can get a 70% Embiid, you're always a threat because he's that dominant, right? But now when you're looking at the rest of that roster, right, and we're looking at James Harden in particular, he ain't getting younger. Good thing is that he does have old man game, but, and this is what I said, like, old man game for this version of James Harden, like injury plagued, means that you got to be more off the ball. You got to get the ball to James Maxey, let him turn the corner against pick and roll defenses and things like that. Let him more so be a distributor, and let James be a secondary distributor and more of a catch and shoot type of player. I think that bodes better for where he's at dealing with injuries right now. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that championship window is all but gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, we look at a team like Phoenix, where they were like in the thick of it, and out of their big three, two of them are young. Mm-hmm. And if their window is closed, I have to agree that Philly's window is probably closed as well.
Word. Well, speaking of title windows, when it comes to another Eastern Conference team, some high headlines were made today. Press conferences were held with Kyrie Irving of the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie was asked a multitude of questions about a link to something that he may not or may have watched allegedly on Amazon, a documentary. And this has sparked conversations about anti-Semitism, Jewish hatred. Where does Kyrie stand? Do you believe? Blah, 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 blah. All these questions, political questions. And Kyrie has said during the interview, you can go watch it yourself on ESPN, but paraphrasing, he basically said, I stand with all people. I don't believe the Holocaust was fake. Some things in the documentary were falsehoods and unfortunate, blah, blah, blah. So I heard that, and you can judge for yourselves when you all listen to it. But from what I heard, it didn't sound like he was standing by any hateful statements. It was just a post and a link. Take of that what you may. Here at Dead Sports, we had to judge that now that Kyrie has been suspended for a minimum of at least 5 games with no pay. So I'll start with FIFA. Where do we stand on, were the Brooklyn Nets justified? Did this have to happen?
It's a loaded question, Q. Mm-hmm. It's a loaded question.
From the business side, FIFA, if you're the Nets, did this have to happen? Let me ask you that.
From the business side of things, of course, it's always better to save face. And I'm so conflicted in how I really want to answer this, but from a business perspective, I understand what they did. However, I think that, in my opinion, it was good enough to have Kyrie donate to a charity, and at the end of the day, that's the best business. You know what I'm saying? And just keep it moving. Now, are people's feelings going to be hurt? Are people going to feel a type of way? Obviously so. But to suspend the man 5 games, what they deem conduct detrimental to the team, I think that's a bit much.
Sheldon,
I think they had to do it. I really feel like they were probably getting pressure not just from the fans but from the league. And we all know that's unfortunate that it went this way. I agree with people. The $500,000 donating that and where he stands and what he said, like you said earlier, Q, that should be just it. But I don't think the league wanted anybody else to kind of step out and say anything. So this suspension is a way to kind of deaden it, if that makes sense. Let's kill this before it gets started. And, ain't nobody else trying to go through this without pain. Let's make Kyrie the example, i.e. Kanye.
King.
The Nets were justified in suspending him. But I do not think this would have gotten to the point that it did if Kyrie Irving wasn't being lynched by the mainstream media. They took this thing and they ran with it. He deleted it. He tried to make amends in Irving's way. It wasn't satisfactory to the mainstream media. And they kept going on and on and on and on and on with it. And it got to a point where the NBA, as a business, felt that they had to make this decision for everybody. And that is what it is. And Kyrie has to live with his actions. You have to understand, and Kyrie is smart enough to know this came right after Kanye. Everybody in the world seen that. And when you start saying or tweeting or doing anything along those lines, whether it's intentional, unintentional or not, it don't matter. You will be got. And Kyrie should have known better. And he did not. And this is where we are. So, it is what it is at this point. The question is whether or not he's going to come back. I don't know if Kyrie will ever apologize for what he did.
He still ain't get vaxxed, though.
He
ain't
not
gonna apologize. Why are you gonna apologize for
it? Go ahead,
Q.
No, it's all you.
If you look, we have to praise Kyrie for standing on what he believes. I'm not saying that I agree. What I'm saying is that man believes wholeheartedly what he believes in. And whether you agree or not, you have to respect that man for his stances. You know what I'm saying? I was very anti-vax, you know what I'm saying, when that shit first came out. And for reasons unto myself, and family and business and things of that nature, I decided to do it. But I could definitely tell you I was the last one to it. You know what I'm saying? So I understand people that don't want to do it. I understand people that do want to do it. But at the end of the day, man, like, you just got to respect Kyrie for being his own individual and standing on what he believes in. You know what I'm saying? So, and that, Ken, I think Kyrie's not gonna apologize, especially if he doesn't feel that what he did was wrong. I don't think he should be condemned for that. Again, I think he extended an olive branch. He donated bread, and it is what it is, man.
And they said no. They didn't even want the money. They turned it down.
That's
like,
on them.
no.
So our money's not even good enough for you. All right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey,
so really, you just want me to bend the knee to you and basically just be like, you all are right. I'm anti-Semitic and I will never say the fuck you. How about this? Fuck you. How about this? Fuck every single one of you, because this is exactly what the fuck we talking about. The fact that they can even bring Kyrie. Let's just do the autopsy of why people don't fuck with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving said the world was flat. 2 weeks later, when people brought that up to him, he said, "Oh shit, yeah, I was down a YouTube rabbit hole. My bad, y'all. That was wrong." He went on ESPN after the Boston trade. He got into it with Max Kellerman, and we all know what he looked like. He looked like two Max into the white media. He looked like an uppity Negro who looked like he knew exactly way more than Max and knew way more than all the sheep he was calling out in the media. He was calling the media sheep. That was strike two. And then when you start having missing Strike 3 was when he started missing games because of personal stuff. Strike 4 was when the 2020 stuff happened, and the reports were coming out saying that he was willing to lock out the NBA and go on strike to send a message to America. After that, it's been the vaccine stuff. And by the way, 100,000+ medical workers in New York City have been reinstated who did not want to take the vaccine, and they've been given back pay for that. So a lot of shit that everyone keeps saying Kyrie's so fucking crazy about, please go actually read what he's talking about, even if he don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Because a lot of the information is correct. A lot of information is false. And that's what happens when you're an actual reader, when you use scientific literacy, when you're media literate, you can read shit you don't agree with and get shit out of it to apply to your own life. I don't have to agree with a word that a conservative black Republican says. I can go read their life story and still find something in about it, how they came up in Wall Street or something, and apply that to my business. I don't have to agree with their ideology. I can post that link and they'll be like, well, Q, I thought you was a socialist. Q, I thought you was the Pan-African. That don't mean I can't read that motherfucker. I can't read Clarence Thomas. That means I agree with Clarence Thomas. What happened to endorsements on our retweets? And why the fuck do y'all want to get in business with Jeff Bezos, sell your games to him, but Kyrie can't buy a product on Jeff Bezos' platform and post about it? On a platform that Elon Musk said you can use free speech now. Mm-hmm. Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going. So by Kyrie, I'm staying with Kyrie. I'm never going to condemn Kyrie. I'm not condemning Kanye because y'all don't condemn none of y'all shit. Y'all never condemn the white folk who come out and say crazy shit about us. And if y'all do, all y'all do is transfer them so they can get another bag somewhere else. When we fuck up, we cancel forever. Ain't no money, the water cut off. When they insult us, when they shit on us, it's tap on the wrist and here's a 6-figure job somewhere else. Just be quiet. Fuck y'all. So we moving on.
Yeah, I was reading an article about Jemele Hill. And I guess maybe she watched the documentary. I'm not sure. She made it seem like she did. She mentioned something about Henry Ford. And he was anti-Semitic or published something along those lines of volume. And apparently that tarnished his reputation and all this other stuff. And but damn, I see a lot of fucking Fords on the street. I see a lot of fucking Fords out there, bro. So, it is what it is. But that's Kyrie, man. I read up on the press conference and they were definitely trying to get him to just outright say he apologized and he stood his ground and he's entitled to stand his ground and it is what it is. And it has nothing to do with me or my views, but this is just who he is and how he feels about it. And that's it. So Kyrie is perfectly willing to die on the sword for this and so be it. So.
But yes, on to lighter notes. I feel as though the whole Kyrie situation, we can stay in Brooklyn. We can talk more so about the basketball aspect of Brooklyn now. With Kyrie out, with Ben Simmons in and out of the lineup with his struggles, we now have the onset of the Ime Udoka hiring, potentially, allegedly happening in Brooklyn. They have the audacity to anyway. They're going to literally come on, Ken. Like, all right, it's just a comedy, dude. Like the Brooklyn Nets are a mess. So Simmons is not playing up to par. The back injury is still, plaguing him. The Ime Udoka signing, Nash firing. KD, he's scoring 30. He doesn't look that interested. How are the Nets going to blow this up by All-Star break, FIFO? Yes, sir. Like, where's this headed?
Don't know. This whole organization is a cluster F. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to do a little bit better with my cussing, but it's just a cluster, bro. Like it's there is no direction. I think the time to blow it up. See, look, okay. Let me moonwalk just a little bit. When Joe Tsai had the ultimatum by Kevin Durant, it was trade me or get rid of Sean Marks and or Steve Nash. You said, no, we're going to side with our guys. 7 games in, you acquiesce to those demands. Why didn't you trade Kevin Durant? If you're siding with your guys, you should have traded Kevin Durant and got his money. Everything you just build around Ben. With built away 30 games into the season, trade Ben Simmons. If I'm not mistaken, because of when they traded for Ben, it may have been like in February, the earliest you could have trade him to. Trade him to. At the end of the day, you would have cleared cap space. You'd had a whole bunch of draft picks in this draft that is definitely rich in talent. And start over. But because you don't have an idea, an identity, balls, this is what you get. This is what you get because you have no vision. These billionaires think that we can apply the things that made them great in whatever business that got them to their billions and apply it to the NBA. And it's like, bro, it don't work like that. It don't. Now, you get character and the hard work mentality, things of that nature. But this is you didn't make $1 billion by own.
FIFO, your
basketball players that you have to deal with. Huh?
Your internet is bad.
Yeah. They said you're being sabotaged.
They said it's a little laggy.
I'm talking too much facts.
They said you talking too much, bro. They can't coming after you, bro.
The streets is watching.
Hey, but you know, am I mistaken? Didn't they try to trade Ben Simmons? I mean, not Ben Simmons. Try to trade KD.
That's what they said. I don't know if they actually really put the full brunt of the organization behind trading him, or if they just kind of took calls and said, "Nah, we ain't doing it."
I honestly think, you know, if anybody asked me, I would honestly think that the Minnesota trade messed everything up.
Yep.
It messed everything up for everybody in their minds. It made your value. Like, why would I trade KD if you got this much for Rudy Gobert? Why would I trade KD for less? That's the thinking behind, let's try to make this thing work. Because we ain't trading you for pennies. We're not going to trade you and look like fools for taking less than you take for Rudy Gobert. So I think that really just threw the whole process off. So that's kind of why they were in the position they were in. Then the team wasn't looking good. Steve Nash had already lost everybody. Nobody's paying attention to him. They just said, you know, forget it. Let's start here. He got to go. And email Udoka is available. Maybe this will work. So they just trying things now. Like you said, when people are millionaires, billionaires, they just try stuff sometimes because they ain't really got much to lose at this point. And you will blow it up at the end. But, you know, for now, you stuck with these guys. You can't trade Kyrie.
So you're either going to blow it up on the front end or the back end because, again, these basketball players know more than these billionaires. And at the end of the day, I'm not saying that Steve Nash was a bad hire, but when Kyrie made the comment about, well, we don't need a coach. KD can coach. I can coach. At that moment in time, Steve Nash lost all power in that organization with that team. When you are a leader of men, then men have to respect you and that authority that comes with that accountability. And your two best players are making a mockery out of you. That's not the right guy. No matter what you think as an owner, man, I really like his basketball mind. I like what he's trying to instill. The moment that the team turns against that guy, you gotta get rid of him.
But see, sometimes you can't though, FIFO, because you got to think about it from this angle too. You know, you play the other side sometimes too, and that's why I'm doing this. But if I give in and acquiesce to what Kevin Durant is asking me for, what about my power as the owner? You know, how do I look? You tell me to get rid of a coach and a GM, and I just go do it because you said it, even if it's the right thing to do. Sometimes I'm gonna look like a fool, so nobody's gonna respect me. So in saying that, I'm like, nah, who are you? You're a player. I run this.
But you know what?
The mentality.
But at the end of the day, Joe Tsai didn't go make a pitch to go get Kyrie and KD. They decided to go there. Mm-hmm. So the respect thing already wasn't mutual. We gonna go where we want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And you gonna sign us because the back of my name says Durant and his says Irving. And guess what? We're 2 of the top 15 players in the NBA. Right. So you're already doing what I wanted to do anyway. You might as well do it all.
Mm-hmm.
See, because when we look at strong organizations, they go and get guys that they want, that fit. It's not the other way around. So from the get-go, that wasn't mutually respect.
I agree with King Cam. I do think the James Harden trade set them back only because it didn't work and they didn't get a chance to play a lot of games together. When they played games together, it was crazy. We know the record by now. But unfortunately it didn't. And here we are. You add in Kyrie's behavioral issues, and that's more added to this mess. And we still don't know how KD feels about this Kyrie situation. We still do not know how KD feels about Kyrie being suspended or Kyrie's thoughts on this at all. That I haven't seen any. So that may or may not come. He may keep quiet and just let it be what it be. But he may feel some kind of way about this because that is his boy.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, hold on. Let me ask you real quick. Ken, so do you think it's important for KD to voice how he feels?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm just saying that we do not know, and we know that KD can be very vocal about how he feels about things, or he can just sit back and be silent and be smart and keep his mouth shut because he got a lot of business deals that he's going on. He don't want to fuck up his money.
What if the whole team just post a link tonight? What if the whole team just say?
That'll be awesome.
Right. Joe Tsai, what you about to do?
Man, if KD shared that link, that would be fun.
Oh, that would be fucking hilarious.
Like, what you gonna do, man?
Like, now what? Now what? But here's the question I want to ask y'all. Do you think that their reluctance to actually do the trades and acquiesce to KD and Kyrie's demands in the offseason? Because Kyrie was trying to get to LA too. He was trying to work his deal too. And they said no. Do you think that's because Joe Tsai's operating with the Brooklyn has not turned into a powerhouse or a revenue earner like I thought it would have? And I'm not about to, go deeper into my pockets and make all these different deals when it's like I'm last in ticket sales right now. And last season we weren't even top 5, I think. Like, dude, it's just like, come on, man. So it's like I'm not seeing the return on my investment. I know I'm not about to go. Do you think that is like his, or is he just more so on some like I brought y'all here, you gonna stay here type of shit?
I go ahead, Shelton.
No, I was just gonna say I still think it's more about what they're getting in return. I think they're looking for a higher return on the trade, whatever trade market there is. They want it to be stronger than what it is. You think you get more for a player of Kyrie's caliber, a player of KD's caliber. You want more for Ben Simmons when it's time to trade him. But you that's what I think it would be more than anything else. Like you feel like it's time to move on, but right now you be trading. You be selling low right now. You be selling real low. I think on all three.
See, but the problem is that the value is not going to get that much higher. At the end of the day, the longer you wait, the older that these guys are. We're not talking about 23, 24, 25-year-olds. We're talking 30 plus outside of Ben Simmons. But Ben Simmons got mental issues. He got back issues. And we see that a 6'11" guy is scared to shoot layups. Like, so it's sometimes you just have to cut your losses. And I think that, in my D365, I said it, like, the fan base is not buying Kyrie. They don't believe in KD. And who's in the market of Ben Simmons now?
Nobody.
So
Right.
nobody.
Right.
So Ben Simmons is probably the most untradeable guy in the NBA, maybe not named Russell Westbrook. You know what I'm saying? You gotta move on because it does not work. It just it doesn't work. Now, I think that the reason why they're still there is because, in my opinion, man, this is just outside looking in, 100%. I'm nowhere near a billionaire. But it feels like Joe Tsai is just being very maniacal in a sense that I just want to keep this here because I'm a billionaire and I own the Nets and you're under contract. Instead of looking at the situation really for what it is. From a basketball perspective, you have a top 5 player in the world that is 100% disinterested. Now, I like Ime Udoka. I think that what he brings to the table fixes or helps put you on the right track of what this team needs, but it's not going to be overnight. Boston wasn't overnight. It took half of a season, more than half of a season for that to come to fruition. And to your point on Tuesday, Shelton, he had the offseason. If he comes into this situation, he doesn't have the offseason.
And those guys were 25 and 26.
And they're younger. You know what I'm saying? So I think from a mental perspective, this team can buy in quicker, but the personnel isn't there. So how much blame are we going to give Sean Marks? What if Ime said, hey, bro, you got to get rid of Sean Marks? Are you going to get rid of Sean Marks? So again,
he's next.
no, he is next. But what I'm saying is, you know, you talked about power and respect. If Ime comes in demanding you get rid of Sean Marks, are you going to do that? And if you do that, what type of respect do you have in your own organization? This is just a bad look overall. And I think that the Nets need to Joe Tsai needs to figure out what is more important. Because if you're trying to vie for championships, this ain't going to get it for you. You've had a big three now for 3+ years, and you got one playoff series for that. It's just time to move on.
Let me ask y'all a question, though, and you especially people, at the beginning of the year, before all this went down, weren't Brooklyn, and I can't remember, I'm being honest, I cannot remember. I do remember, FIFO, you was captain for Ben Simmons a little bit.
No, I have.
I remember that. So in saying that, at the beginning of the year, were these the same sentiments that a lot of people, including yourselves, had? Because I don't think a lot of people felt like they should have been blowing it up. Well, didn't people feel like they were going to come back up?
No, when and we could go check the tape. When KD said, trade me, I said trade him. I was one of the first people. Trade him. Now, the Ben Simmons thing, bro, look, I'm not going to front. That Atlanta series changed that, man.
Yep.
It changed him. And
like the Vietnam War.
PTSD, bro. PTSD.
Sure.
I thought that he can overcome those demons because we saw what he can be. Bro, you're 6'11", not the most athletic, but way above average in terms of athletic ability, IQ, defensive prowess. Like you're a jump shot away from being one of the best dudes in the league. And all he's done is regress. So I'll take that one. I'll 1,000,000% take that one. I've been capping for Ben Simmons for a minute now. I'm off the Ben Simmons bandwagon. He's stealing money at this point, bro. That's what it is. It's highway robbery. He is stealing money from the NBA. That's that, or whatever organization pays him. So I'm off of the Ben Simmons thing.
No, so Sheldon, I had a question for you, Sheldon. Yeah. When it comes to just like team chemistry, because you're like this is actually not a joke. You're one of the better barometers for, like, I guess more so. You always look to see when guys on the sideline motivating dudes, and you really have like a keen eye for that type of stuff, like those intangible dudes. And when I see the Nets, dude, it is the saddest collection of guys. Everybody just on the bench like this, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know what I mean? Like, you remember back when D'Angelo Russell and Jared Dudley and them were there? Everybody was on the bench, like, dancing and shit. It was so fun. Mm-hmm. You had Kenny Atkinson was the young coach, Jared Allen, Karis LeVert. Everybody was there. Oh, word, we got Kyrie and KD coming, and we got a young core. Nice. Wait, you're doing what? And then from that point on, the whole Harden stuff. So I guess my question is, is, do you think that the lack of like tangible leadership on this group from the player side, not the coaches, not the GMs, not the ownership, just from the player side, there's nobody in there that I see who's actually pulling people by, be like, hey, we need to be accountable.
Right. That's a huge thing. That's just another part of their puzzle because there's so much wrong with this thing. But I can guarantee you, this team don't have a group chat at all. They don't have a group chat. But they don't have a. And this sounds funny, but a Udonis Haslem, for example, a guy that's been there that can kind of tell you how things are. I'm not a superstar, but I'm a vet that's going to lead you guys. I'm going to be the leader of this thing, so KD can be KD, Kyrie can be Kyrie, Ben can be Ben. So you guys are just, they kind of spaced out a little bit, but it holds the glue together. There's no glue there. They don't have none. So it's just like they don't have an identity outside of the chaos. So that team is bad. But like I was saying, a lot of people believe that if you go off of talent and you look at the sheet, if you look at their roster on the sheet, like Bruce Brown, for example, was that guy. Losing Bruce Brown meant a lot more than people. Losing a piece like Bruce Brown meant tons to this team this year from last year. There's a huge difference. So.
No, he's balling in Denver right now, too. He's balling in Denver. Perfect for that team.
Right. He fits perfect with them. He's a glue guy. He's one of those guys that'll come off the bench, give you 110%, can start when you need him to start. He can come off the bench and give you the same energy. And they're missing a guy like that. Joe Harris is not that guy. None of those other guys that you could name are that type of guy.
Mills, that Seth Curry. Yeah. These are all offense is not Brooklyn's problem.
No.
It's not their problem.
Not at all.
They
ain't
have
got no dogs.
Zero perimeter defense.
Zero dogs. Not one. not anybody that they can count on to get a stop when they need it. We need a stop right now.
Bro, Ben Simmons.
That guy.
Ben Simmons about to do a versus against Michael Porter Jr.'s back. Like, dude, this shit is like this is not. This is about to be bad for the Brooklyn Nets, dude. The way that I see their entire roster from top to bottom, it's just. You have nobody to stop anything from on the perimeter. You have no real presence on the inside besides Claxton, and he's not heavy enough to deal with real presences inside. So, yeah, man, Brooklyn's a mess. I'm predicting that they're going to blow it up. I think Kyrie gets traded before the All-Star weekend. I would think maybe December could be hot for Kyrie, but that's just my prediction. So, when it comes to some other hot starts, I want to highlight some young guys who are doing it right now. Just, naming some names. Donovan Mitchell last night has been going absolutely insane in Cleveland.
Wow.
Cleveland looks incredible. We can come back and talk about them more extensively. Paolo Banchero looks like he is going to be possibly one of the better Duke players to ever come out of Duke.
Right.
Could possibly be damn near even the best one to come out. Who knows? You never know. So you got him. You got the Utah Jazz are balling right now. Utah Jazz are balling. Jordan Clarkson's going crazy. Lauri Markkanen looks good. I just want to give a shout out to them. FIFO's number one guy, Bol has found second life in Orlando. Let's just give it. I'm doing young guy spotlight now. You know what I'm saying? So Bol, Paolo, shout out Orlando. Y'all building Franz Wagner. That whole little core. All y'all need is just one dynamic point guard. Y'all go.
They beat Golden State tonight too.
Come on, Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham. Cade is averaging 28 the last 6 games. He put together a 35 piece and a 31 piece like in the last 2 games. Shout out to Cade and Jaden Ivey.
Trying to tell y'all. Them boys playoff bound this year.
Yeah.
Shelton
they're not playoff bound, people.
They playoff.
I'm telling you. I promise
bound.
You, we can bet anything you want to bet on that. They're not touching the playoffs.
Hey man, I always bet a bottle.
That's a bet.
I know you don't drink. You let me know what you need. I need that Hennessy.
Done deal.
Man, you need a Henny privilege. I feel that. No, so we got all these young guys in the league. I want to ask before we get back to the Cleveland Cavaliers, I want to touch on them. Who are some young guys that is getting y'all's attention? People that you're like, man, I can't believe it. Also, the Spurs are balling too. By the way, Spurs are going crazy.
Yes, they are. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of the teams we thought were gonna be bad, they look better than the teams that were supposed to be good.
Yeah.
So we talked about parity in football. Like this year has a lot of parity in the NBA. I like them Houston boys, man. You ain't now one of them Houston boys, man. Jalen looked like he's taking another step.
Yeah.
Kevin Porter Jr.
You know
what I'm saying? Huh?
Jalen looks like Jalen to me. He can score the basketball, but I ain't seen nothing else. I need to see some defense or something. Like you gonna stop somebody at some point?
Hey, look, man. Defense don't get max contracts.
It don't.
Defense don't get max contracts, and to me,
he might not be a defender, man. It's not like Carmelo was known for defending people.
He a bucket, man.
He a bucket.
Some people that's all they do.
Yep, go find somebody else to go defend, but you're gonna pay me to get these buckets. and then the reason why I say he's taking a step forward, the efficiency, you can see the difference from year 1 to year 2. Like, oh, okay, this is how I get buckets at this level. You know what I'm saying? And Kevin Porter Jr. every year he's just adding more and more and more to his game. Jabari Smith, I like him there, but he's looking young. He looked like a fish out of water right now, to a degree. But I like the Houston boys. Everybody you name, Q. Everybody you name is balling, man.
Siakam is going dummy right now.
I told y'all. I told y'all.
Siakam looks great.
I was watching that in the summer, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he is hooping. That Pacers team is looking good too. They talking about Mathurin, Tyrese Halliburton is playing out of his mind.
Why did Sacramento trade Tyrese Halliburton and not De'Aaron Fox?
Bro, makes no sense.
That's the biggest question mark you could ever come up with.
It was De'Aaron Fox's it was his 5th season versus Tyrese Halliburton's first, and you trade Tyrese Halliburton in the middle of his rookie season for Sabonis. Okay.
The only thing I could think of, and I tried to think about that too. I'm like, what could they have been thinking? The only thing I could think they was thinking is they didn't know exactly what Halliburton was going to be. Maybe they couldn't see it. I don't know how they couldn't.
How?
I don't know. I'm not saying that.
Put the ball in his hand.
Whatsoever.
Combo guard. Just
put the ball in his hand. Sean Livingston prototype for the 2020s. Like, literally.
Yeah,
he's averaging 25 points a game, though.
Who? Yeah, he is. He a bucket. But here's the thing. Again, another billionaire owner that don't know what the hell he doing. Vivek ran a Vivek. Don't make me go off on a tangent because me and Vivek, we need to have a sit down because I don't get what Sacramento doing out there, bro.
Like I said, he's averaging 25 a game, but it's still just not coming together yet. And that's the one thing about these younger guys that we have to think about. And that's what I say all the time. Like a team like Detroit, for example, the problem I have with a team like Detroit is you have a ton of talent. But a lot of times when you're bringing in all this talent, you think about these guys. These are all, they're getting all the higher picks. So these guys are coming in and they the man. A lot of them got to understand, well, here, I'm not going to be the man. Even though I was drafted high, even though I was the man in college, I got to learn how to play in this second fiddle, sometimes third, sometimes fourth fiddle role. And a lot of those guys mentally are not there. They got to understand, like, I can't come in and do exactly. If I keep drafting scores, for example, we'll take Houston, for example. Jalen Green is a scorer. Porter is a scorer. They got these guys that can put the ball in the hole. Somebody's going to have to say, well, I can't do what I normally do. I got to do what the team needs me to do. And that's where a lot of times these younger teams run into problems. These guys sometimes with their second team is where they realize their potential and do all these things. So compiling young talent does not mean success. And we've seen it in the past. Very rarely does a team grow together and grow into champions. That doesn't happen very often.
And that's why, Sheldon, I have them missing the play-in by like 3, 4, 5 games. I think that they're going to be right there towards the end, but they're going to like slip like all teams did. It's kind of like what Cleveland did last year. They got hurt, and then they had some key losses that shouldn't have been losses. And I think that Detroit is not as well coached as Cleveland is last year because Cleveland had more talent. They were more mature. They had more veterans, and they still didn't make the playoffs. So
hold on, Q. So you're saying Cleveland last year is more talented than Detroit this year?
Easily. I think Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Kevin Love, Isaac Okoro. I think that you have Jetty Osman. You have multiple guys who could go be the 5th or 6th best guy on multiple teams in the NBA. And
right, and they understand.
And right now you have Ivy, Bogdanovich, you have Cade, who are fantastic players. But outside of those, Stewart, I'm not going to disrespect what's his name, Sadiq Bey as well.
Yep, that's what I'm about to say.
But I still think that the separation between Cade and Ivy is large, and it's definitely large between Ivy and the rest of them, in my opinion, in terms of raw talent. Those are like Stewart and Sadiq Bey. They kind of are like support guys to me. They're like in the Miles Bridges tier to me. Like, yo, you're a really good player, but you might be a French all-star one year, maybe. If you can get really hot, like a Chris Middleton, maybe that's his ceiling. But for me, I think Cleveland was better coached last year. They had more talent, and they missed the playoffs by a couple games, and they were in the play-in. So if Detroit, who was their second season really in the full rebuild for real, they are established. Once you get your guy, that's when I start counting your full rebuild year. So that's when they got Cade. Now you have Ivy in your second year. Third year, I think, is when you get to the playoffs. This is when you just missed the play-in. And you need that lumpy. You need that disappointment of, man, I thought we had the team this year, man. Fuck. Now I got to go even harder because now teams were ready for us, because this is the year in a lot of rebuilds where certain things kind of happen to every team that's trying to come up. And when you're starting to get good, you start to take the teams that you used to get blown out by down to the wire. You start to take Golden State down to the last 3 minutes, and you might lose that game, but you never have gotten to that point until then. Next year, you start to win those games routinely, and that's when you start to make playoffs, in my opinion.
No, and you know what? And in most 98% of cases, I definitely would agree. I like the way that how the talent is. They're complementary. Like they've done an amazing job getting players that fit. So you're not asking guys to do things that are too far out of their comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? Like, to Schultz's point, young players getting into the league, they always got to find their footing. Like, what am I versus what the team needs, right? And I feel like in Detroit is like literally one and the same. Like, what I do is what the team needs me to do. You know what I'm saying? I think for young teams, I talk about 3 to 5. Young players, they just need to figure it out. And sometimes you're so advanced coming in, like Jaden Ivey is advanced. Cade Cunningham was advanced. Again, and I don't know. I just have a feel, and I'm not saying like they're guaranteed shoe into the playoffs. Play in, if they miss it, they miss it. But if they miss it, it's not going to be by much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I really feel that this team, because you look at a lot of young players and young teams, typically in that second half, they start to figure it out. It's like, oh, okay. And the thing to me individually, Jaden, it's like, I'm here. Watch what I do. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that once he gets even more comfortable, that team is gonna win those games that he's like, how y'all not supposed to win those? And they're gonna lose a lot of those too. But I definitely think that they're gonna be a playing team. I don't see how they can't be. I can't see it.
I got you. So it's more so a belief thing. Like, I believe in this team.
I believe in what they have.
I ain't mad at nobody ever believing in the team. You know what I mean?
Now, y'all would have to check my temperature if I say, yeah, man, they're going to finish top 3 in the East.
Yeah.
No, hey, I'm not jumping off the cliff, but
you believe in the early arrival of the Pistons.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because that can some people said that the Sixers arrived early when Embiid and Simmons came in, and when they both were healthy the first season. And we went on that 20-game win streak or something. Oh, the Sixers are here. This is their time to go to the finals. People were saying that. Yeah. It didn't happen, but I don't think the concept is – it's not going to be far-fetched in the future for a guy. There's going to be another similar to a Magic story of the kid who came in who was supposed to be dumb nice, and he was dumb nice, and he took a team to either Eastern Conference Finals or came onto a team and – a bunch of young guys clicked and whatnot. There's going to be that because the league is, like we've always been saying the last couple of years, league is getting too deep, and they're going to add more teams as well. So it's going to be more opportunity. There's going to be more playoff rules. The in-season tournament is going to be more of a shakeup. So the prospect of a young team actually getting to, arrive early in the future is not, something that I would bet against. So we can go there. But something I will bet against. What's up?
Stephen Kerr, Gerald Green was kind of crazy in 2K, bro.
No, he was.
Yeah,
man, that was the same. What are you about to say? And then we got a caller too. By the way, Q. But
I was saying, speaking of things I'm not ever betting on. One of our quick stories before we get to a call. Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers.
Sell all the stock. Sell it.
I am not betting on those knees, man. It's time we have a conversation about Kawhi Leonard, his career, the fact that we really have not seen him fully in a playoff since, I think, the bubble 2020. We saw him against Luka, but he tore the ACL then. He tore the ACL after, 4 games? Mm-hmm. So it's like we have not seen a full season since 2020. We have not seen Kawhi at full strength in the playoffs because he wasn't full strength in 2020. He was hobbled then. People don't know that. We have not seen Kawhi at full strength in the playoffs since actually probably the Zaza Pachulia injury. He's been dealing with it ever since then. That really derailed his career. So the Clippers have been off to a very weird start. They have a lot of forwards. They have a lot of guard, and they have a lot of forwards. They have Marcus Morris, Batum, every forward in the NBA that you could want to help on the perimeter. But they have a lack of identity, and Kawhi hasn't played but 1 game coming off the bench. So I asked the panel, are we scared for the Clippers? Are we scared for Kawhi? Can the Clippers win without Kawhi? How are we feeling early on in the season?
When you say win without Kawhi, we talking regular season games, we talking championship. What we talking about?
Would you be shocked if Ty Lue could get Paul George and the Clippers to a championship? Let me ask that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because as much as I've been capping for John Wall, and he looks great, by the way, John Wall and PG is not enough, plus whatever else is left on that roster. You definitely need the full complement of Kawhi Leonard on that team to win a championship. Mm-hmm. Can they win games? Yeah, like they're very talented with a championship head coach. They can win games. I think that they are a playoff team, but that's about it. First, maybe second round, depending on the matchup, but that's about it. When you look at the rest of the West, and the playoff teams that will be there in the end, I'm not putting my money on the Clippers.
Now that's crazy, people, because you was one of them ones. Once again, you capped for them guys. And the main argument was how deep this team was. So if the team was as loaded and deep as everybody, including yourself, said, why can't they go without Kawhi? They should be used to it by now.
Yeah, but Kawhi is the championship sauce. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the championship sauce. PG, we know how I feel about PG when it comes to playoff. Okay, he not no playoff P. You know what I'm saying? Now, in the last recent years, he's had some moments here and there. But let's be honest, for them to be a championship contender, it requires Kawhi. And and I'm cool with Kawhi load managing to be healthy for the playoffs. I'm cool with that. But he got to be healthy for the playoffs. If he's not that, then I don't think that they can win. Now, depth is very important in the playoffs for matchups, right? You don't know who you're going to play. We don't know the style of play. So that's why I really like them. But without Kawhi, they're not a championship contender. Like I said, they could win a lot of games. They can make it to the playoffs. But a championship contender, and here's the thing, just like Ben Simmons, I'm not necessarily jumping off the ship, but I thought Kawhi was coming into the season healthy. To me, healthy for Kawhi 70+ games. I thought that's what we were gonna get. We're not getting that. I can't be on the championship bandwagon.
Ken, you made a face, so I want you to go.
Well, I'm wondering if they title contender even with Kawhi, to be honest. We haven't seen it. Let's be real. We have history now. And I said in our old chat that Lou might be on Doc watch, people. And I was just thinking one day, I was like, man, a lot of hype. 2 great players, failed expectations. The best thing Lou did that Doc wasn't able to do was he got the Clippers to the Western Conference Finals. He had them boys playing really, really well. He made a believer out of us in Reggie Jackson. The man was definitely doing a lot of good coaching. But he got that one title with generational talent. Similar to Doc.
Mount Rushmore talent.
Yeah. Similar to Doc. Got fired when all of that left quickly in Cleveland. Got pulled in back, title expectations. And, there's been a lot of injuries, but we look at Doc's run and as a Clipper, he had injuries too. Chris Paul would get hurt. Blake Griffin would get hurt. Every year it was something would happen where that team would not live up to the expectations. And when Luke got there, the expectations are championships. So, I'm not knocking the man in terms of his ability to coach, because back in Doc's heyday, Doc could coach. The game is passing him by, and that's why we're kind of looking at it now a little funny now, because the game isn't the same anymore. But in terms of expectations and what he was supposed to do, all the hype when PG got there and Kawhi got there, and it was like, oh man, they going to the finals. Shit, them motherfuckers got put out every damn year, and it's not always his fault because Kawhi get hurt, but we know Kawhi get hurt. We know the failures of PG 13, and they were a lot. Even so, my thing is, this is who Kawhi is. If they are fully healthy, are they good enough to come out of the West when you got the Warriors there, and when you got who else is dope in the West? There are a lot of good teams there, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The Clippers for me, Sheldon. Let me ask you this: on a scale from 1 to 10, how worried are you right now with Kawhi being out? I think they keep saying that the surgery, the tendon did not respond well. The ACL didn't respond well to surgery. So, how scared are we on a scale from 1 to 10 about the Clippers?
For this team, they should be on pretty high alert. It should be about an 8 or a 9. Like Ken said, I wasn't that confident, and I couldn't understand why everybody was so high on them being championship level. I'm like, they got so much to go through to get to that point. Like Ken said, we saw this before. So I don't know why everybody believed that this was going to be the year. Like he was just going to walk back out there on the court and be just this guy. I never had that confidence in this team. I never really did, even though they do have talent. Once again, talent has to blend. It's so important to blend the talent and to get out there and do your job and know your roles. And that's where a lot of people struggle. When you put a lot of talent together, does not always necessarily equate to winning. You have to have the right talent in the right places. And I hadn't seen that from this team. You don't want to be a team that goes in the NBA. Your successful teams are not 11 and 12 deep. They're not. They're 8 deep. And those 8 players do exactly what you need for them to do at any given moment of time, and they play at a high level together. That's what this team, it seems to lack. We always talk about playoff P. Well, if not playoff P, then who? It ain't Reggie no more. So yeah, they should be on pretty high alert. They should have been on high alert when they first came, when they first came back, even with knowing that you got to load manage the way they already were having to do. They should have been on high alert for that, because I'm sure they seen them work out.
He missed the whole year, and now he's still down again. That's concerning.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, is that this is what people have been saying, and we can get on to our caller after this. But this is what people have been saying behind closed doors. But Kawhi has a similar condition to what Brandon Roy had, but it's in his quad.
Right.
Like he has deterioration. It's a syndrome that a lot of athletes get when the muscle it can't hold up to the rigor of being a professional athlete, dude. And it's just a sad fact that we've been robbed of potentially like one of a greater all-time career.
Yeah.
Because right now Kawhi's to me, he's in Bo Jackson territory.
Yeah. And you know what else, Q? You know what else about that? A lot of people try to compare him to AD. I don't make that comparison. Here's the huge difference in that.
What's
I'm
the
going to tell you why. The difference is with AD, it can be all my back hurt today. It could be my leg tomorrow. It could be my ankle. You're right. You should compare Kawhi more to a Brandon Roy or to a Greg Oden. It's the same injury with him. He's had these same problems all along.
It don't matter. They're still not playing.
No. But I'm saying it's one thing. It's not like with AD. It's like what now? You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
It's something always. It's something different all the time. If he had one like a degenerative limb or something that wasn't working for him, then I would be killing him just like I would be anybody else. But
I don't know,
for me that's different.
Because also let me shoot Sheldon some bail here, King. There were also questions about AD's not only his mentality but his preparation to stay healthy. I don't think people have ever questioned Kawhi's preparation in the offseason. They never questioned like his workout ethic. They just it's always been his attitude. Like he's not,
Yeah, they may not question his work ethic, but they do question whether or not he's going to play. And they question whether or not he's going to put the team or himself first. Kawhi has always put himself over the team. This is a historical fact.
Yeah, that's true.
All the way back when Pop had him. Kawhi, when it comes to Kawhi's health, Kawhi gives a fuck about nobody else but Kawhi. That's just as bad as AD because you can't depend on him. Because Kawhi sprained his fucking toe. Kawhi gonna sit down. Kawhi sits down for anything. Kawhi just feel bad if he wake up in the day, he gonna sit down.
I told you.
It's very, I don't know. They both down, bro.
Kawhi is the first remote NBA superstar. He is a remote NBA player. I ain't never seen that type of shit. He like what they keep saying in the Wall Street Journal. These millennials are taking these remote jobs too seriously. Kawhi done took that shit. He is quiet quitting. Kawhi is quiet quitting right now, man. So, but
yeah.
The thing is, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the reasons why they are hurt are different, but that's everybody in the league. There are just players that have a history of just always being hurt, no matter what it is. So AD may be brittle about one thing. Kawhi is just brittle about every damn thing. Like nothing fucking works on him. Zion just has fluke accidents. People jump on him for the same thing. The fact is, all of these guys are missing a huge chunk of games for a different number of reasons. We pick and choose who gets it or who doesn't.
Yeah, man, it's a very unfortunate situation all around for the Clippers, and I think we're gonna monitor and hopefully, all the best energy out to Kawhi, man. It really sucks to not be able to see a guy like that really put in work because his 2019 run, man, with the Raptors was really special, man. That whole team was really fun to watch. I really wish he would have actually stayed there, but yeah, exactly. I think Layla just put it in. I think Kawhi doesn't get criticism because we've seen what he's able to accomplish. He's shown up before. That's kind of why I think we give him that pass. Because with AD, bro, it's just like, okay, let me just tell you why.
We haven't seen AD show up before. Didn't he hit a game-winning shot in the playoffs? So did Kawhi.
Yeah,
it is similar.
Wasn't AD the catalyst, in that title run more so than LeBron?
Maybe you're right here that Kawhi is the beneficiary of us not knowing a thing about him, and that AD speaks a lot. And that Kawhi, maybe if he spoke more, we would be like, "You ain't working out. We know you're not really caring about the game." The fact that he's just like, I don't really watch basketball like that. I just do what I do.
You sounded just like him.
I don't really work on anything but my game. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like the reporters just like, oh, Kawhi, that's great. And you know what I mean? So that's all we get. But beyond that, we don't really know much. So AD, we have the benefit of being able to dogpile him because he has Instagram. He's going to tell us what he did during the summer. He's going to, shoot himself in the foot and say, I didn't do anything this summer. I haven't shot the ball all year. Well, like, you ain't shit. That's why you getting injured. You know what I'm about? He came into the season last year like too heavy. We felt like he put on, way too much weight. He dropped some of that. Lord knows, man. But Ken, before we ramble on, let's bring a caller up in here, man.
Rob, bringing you on, bro. Rob, what up?
Who's on the line?
Damn, sorry, my mic is muted. Top of the evening, gentlemen.
Rob, what's happening? What's happening?
Rob, what's
man?
good?
What it do?
Much just watching your boy Wonder, Shelton.
You see him?
Man,
The Hornets are playing, or the Hornets?
no, his adopted boy Wonder.
Oh, yeah.
No, Rob. He's not adopted now. You know I've been capping for Hurts for a long time, haven't I, Q?
Yeah. Before me.
I don't know, man.
Right.
I'm liking this game. Are you watching the game?
Yeah, I'm watching it. Sort of.
I'm liking this game. What'd you say?
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying I'm liking this game for the fact that it's kind of like a dogfight. It's not like a blowout like everybody would expect, because the Texans got a lot of fight in them. And I like Damian Pierce a lot. That's my fantasy back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think people. It's hard because Houston hasn't won a lot, but I don't think people give Lovie Smith credit, man. But I don't think he was ever that bad of a coach.
No, he was always
Right.
a good coach.
Every time he got fired from Chicago after winning 10 games, and then he got fired with Tampa Bay after winning 3 times as many games as he did the year before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the guy's this solid coach. I don't know why there's this narrative against him.
He is. And the thing about Lovey is this Texans team, I've watched them a few times this year, and they're always fighting. And that's the thing that I like about his coaching style and what he brings to the table. Yeah, they're outmanned a lot, but they come in there and they battle. And you ain't going to walk over these guys. It's not going to be a cakewalk. I don't think anybody's blown them out really this year. Every game has been close. They hadn't been blowing people out. They hadn't been blowing you away with anything, but they're solid. They run the ball well and play good defense.
Because you know what it is, Sheldon. Let's get a layer deeper on it. The reason why guys like Lovie Smith, and I'll guess for lack of my tact, I'll throw in Mike Tomlin as well, just to black it up even more. But the reason why I think those two coaches particularly, and coaches like them with their personalities, I think that there's other coaches who aren't black who have that type of personality like them. But the reason why their personalities work so well is the motivating factor behind why they can get guys to really play for them is not just the fact that they see them as humans, and not just the fact that they have these great compassionate hearts and whatnot. It's really the financial side that they can use to rationalize, dude. And I don't mean that in a manipulative way. I mean they'll find a way to motivate the guys week in and week out. You may not play for me next year, but if you show up and show heart and you actually play by my rules and you actually do what the coaches tell you, somebody out there gonna give you a contract and they're gonna pay, and your family's life is gonna be changed for generations. And coaches like that who show that, I care for you and I'm trying to get you paid. Yeah, you may not, win more than 5 games in the season, six games in the season.
It's about respect.
But it's about respect. And guys want to play for the pride of my coach is taking the time to help me change my life, not just me on the field. And that's why Coach Prime is killing it in JSU. And that's why Lovie Smith deserved to get this job,
Right.
I wish it was under better circumstances with the Houston job, but and anything to see him back on the sidelines.
Absolutely. Correct, because I honestly thought the Houston hire was just marketing, PR. You putting him in place as a scapegoat, as trying to get through to the Sean thing and all that mess. So hey, let's hire a black guy. You know what I'm saying? And of course they're gonna fail and we're gonna fire him in a couple of years, but
because they fired the black guy,
right? So I figured that's what that move would. That's what it seemed like to me anyway, because. Drinkwater, you're right. He didn't do well at Illinois. He was a good pro coach, but I wouldn't know if that was the guy to go after unless you're just trying to hold a place. And that's what I think and what I mean by that is the way the league thinks, not me, because I always like that. But I think that's what they were thinking. But once again, he came in and he's got these guys playing ball, and he surprised everybody, including me, because I thought there was nothing left in the cupboard for this team. Nothing.
No.
You take a guy like Pierce. Pierce came from nowhere. He wasn't even a great back in college, and here he is in the pros running like crazy. So you take a situation like that, and it feels good. I'm glad they're on national television playing well against an undefeated team. So I'm happy for him.
I'm thinking back to Lovie Smith's career. He's always had good running games, no matter who you put in that backfield. Because with Chicago's Thomas Jones and that Matt Forte go to Tampa Bay, that was the Doug Martin years, and all of a sudden you got Pierce. It's like, I mean,
Doug Martin. Oh my God,
he was like a 2-year wonder, man. That was crazy.
Yeah,
but it's interesting, because you think the guy'd have more respect. He took Rex Grossman to a Super Bowl.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Wow.
I was about to bring that up. I'm like, who do you think is better right now, Davis Mills or Rex Grossman? Like,
oh my God!
What the fuck?
At least Rex Grossman had a funny name.
Yeah,
but this Mills guy is just—it's rough to watch. But
and the fact that it's even closed is just a testament to certain types of coaching, man. But
because he's doing like you said, he's doing the right thing. He's keeping him in the right position. Got another interception from Garner Johnson, his 5th of the year, which was a huge pick.
That was a classic, trade from Howie, man.
I was going to ask you that, Q. That was the question I was going to ask you. What is your opinion of Howie now with some of these moves he's made lately?
I need to know what has shifted, because either two things have happened. Either number one, I'm dead ass wrong, and I owe that man an apology. Or number two, could be that one. Or number two, there was a change in philosophy somewhere in the front office. Like, I don't know, because we've never made moves like this. We've never traded for the big time wide receiver like A.J. Brown. We never really took the big splash to go get, Bradbury and CJ and, go get, these guys in the middle of the season. What's his name? From
Didn't
Chicago.
Y'all trade for Alshon Jeffrey? Didn't y'all trade for Alshon Jeffrey?
Well, we love trading with Chicago, but I felt like by then Alshon, he was still a number one, but it was still like the last 2 years of his prime for real. He wasn't Alshon then. And plus we shared the field with Hurts. With Ertz, and we had some other talent too that kind of was more
Torrey Smith and who's the dude from New England? Aguilar.
Blunt.
Aguilar.
Yeah, Aguilar, Blunt, LeGarrette Blunt was our. Yeah. So it was more so just a really balanced offense, and Alshon was able to get his shit, within the offense. Versus, I think right now, if we were to say young Alshon, that was the guy. But AJ is still a whole different animal. So man.
Howie did Howie build that Super Bowl team?
I believe that Howie was definitely there. I think that him and Lurie were the ones that collaborated the largest on that team. I remember they said a couple of days ago that it's been more so Howie's show, and Lurie's kind of taking a step back. So perhaps it was more so Lurie, and if that's the case, I owe Howie an apology, and I'm sorry, because that nigga Lurie was fucking up all these trades, and I don't know what he was doing, drafting guys who were hurt and taking Sidney Jones, and it's I'm like, come on, dude, but a bunch of terrible picks. But Howie has wrote the ship, Sheldon. To answer your question, he's definitely brought me back in with just the moves, and plus the fact that we still have the Saints pick next year, and the Saints suck.
Yes.
That shit might be a top 5 pick.
Huge.
Saints might win the division.
The Saints might be a top 5 pick and win the division. That is actually nuts.
How you a top 5 pick and win the division?
That's actually the best. I bet you if every front office could have that outcome, they might do that. They're yo, as long as we get the playoffs, right? All right, cool.
All right.
If only it worked that way.
No, for real.
Yeah,
but Rob, let me ask you this before we get you off here, man. What's been your top 2 or 3 things that you've either been noticing in terms of your favorite stories or trends or players, guys, things we're watching in either NBA or NFL right now? Things that got your eye.
Well, I feel like I deserve some cookies for my Justin Herbert take. That I feel like Herbert gets a little too much credit for stuff he hasn't done yet. Like, how are people throwing Lamar Jackson under the bus when he's been to the playoffs 3 times when Herbert hasn't even done that? So that's definitely one that I was watching. What else? Matt Rule's the worst coach in the NFL. That one worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
That one was, man, oh my God. The downfall of Mac Jones is interesting because people last year, we saw what he looked like. He's like, oh, is this sort of Tom Brady-esque 2.0? And he gets outplayed by, what's the guy's name? Bradley Zapp?
Yep.
Zappy. So that's been really interesting that he goes from, he looked like the best quarterback of that draft class to damn near the worst in one season. Like, you have Bill Belichick behind you and you can't do anything this year.
He kind of struck down the stretch last year, didn't he?
A little bit, yeah. But you would think a full offseason with the Patriots, it would sort of help clean some of those things up. But it's like he's regressed, which is really interesting.
Because the coordinators regress. You put defensive guys calling offensive plays.
He got Homer Simpson calling the fucking plays. Like, dude, what the fuck?
100%.
If there's one person I'll give the benefit of the doubt that to, it is Bill Belichick. Like, I feel like if Bill Belichick is putting them there, there's a reason he's doing it.
But see, like,
you know what
Rob,
I mean?
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt if Bill Belichick was calling the plays, but it's not Bill calling the plays.
But Bill's appointing the play caller.
Yeah. But that's a job, though, right?
Yeah, part of that is arrogance.
It might be.
No, go ahead.
It might be. It might be, and Belichick sort of just maybe not overstep. What's the word I'm thinking of? I don't know the word, but maybe he realizes he made a mistake. He needs to go get someone that is a little more offensive prowess, or maybe he needs to go get a quarterback. What if he traded for Trevor Lawrence?
Shit.
Mac Jones complained all summer about just not understanding what was going on, the concept and what they were trying to do. So this is really not surprising. But once again, I think the arrogance of Bill Belichick and a lot of those guys who are great like that, coaching, playing, anything, sometimes you just be like, well, I'm going to do it my way.
And that's why Bill wants him gone, because he criticized Bill in the offseason. I forgot about that.
Who, Mac?
Mac Jones, I remember that. He was saying, what's going on? So Belichick's like, you're going to criticize me? All right, first chance we get, you're out of here, buddy. You're not back-talking me. Even Brady didn't back-talk me.
But, Mac ain't going out like that. He said, you ain't going to treat me like you treat your other girls, bro. I ain't doing that.
Mac and
I ain't Jacoby.
I
ain't Jacoby. I'm not Jimmy. I'm not
Jimmy
Tom.
G. Oh my God, Jimmy G.
You gonna respect me? You gonna respect me, Bill? It's Mac. It's Mac City in here, nigga. You know what I mean? That's where he at. So
that's another one. That's why the 49ers trade for Trey Lance, because they're not winning a damn thing else with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh my God, they're not winning they're lucky that. Well, I was gonna say
they won Sunday.
Are you not moved by the McCaffrey move? Are you not moved by that?
McCaffrey's gonna get hurt next week.
Damn.
Hey Rob, you got firsthand experience on that.
He's gonna stub his toe and he'll be gone for 6 weeks. Like,
good Lord.
And then I have no faith in him staying healthy for the course of a season. Like, if anything, you need to treat him like Kawhi.
Shit, Lord, like what? Rest him for the first 5 games or something.
Yep, rest him for a game, play him for 2, rest him for 1, to have him at any point in the playoffs.
I mean, shit, the way that the NFL is going, they're going to add a Saturday game, they'll add a Thursday, a Wednesday game too. So
they're gonna play 2 games in one day.
Yeah, no shit. They're gonna have 2. All right, we have a morning game and a night game. Like, a rematch at night. Like what?
No, we didn't like that penalty. We're going to do a redo. Every team gets one redo during the season.
The redo, hosted by Jay-Z. Everyone's like, okay. It's Hov. Like, you know what I mean? Like, shit crazy. Yeah, like literally, dog. It's The Rock. Like, nah, man. But Rob, no, it's been so good chopping up with you, bro. We got to get one more caller on, right? Ken, then we going.
Yep, Marty McFly.
Let's get Marty on.
All right, peace, y'all. Go Panthers.
Peace, family.
All right, bro. Later.
Peace,
Thanks
Rob.
for calling.
Marty,
who's on the line?
What's up? You guys can hear me?
Yep.
What's good,
Yeah,
guys?
what's good, man?
What's up? I just wanted to hop on right quick and like you talk about my Saints, and I'm like, it's not fun. Like, stop making fun of us. Like, it's not a fun time. We have no future or present or anything. But
That man sound distraught. He said, "We ain't got no future."
I watch them on Sundays, and I'm just so conflicted. I have no I don't know what I want to happen anymore.
Is Michael Thomas still alive? Does he play football anymore?
It's been 4 years.
He's questionable to play Sunday, I think.
It's no longer a question, Shelton. He's on IR.
He done, bro.
Oh, wow.
He done.
4 years since he played.
He had a surgery for something, and he's not coming back this year, and he probably won't be with the team next year.
Yeah, he got that Kawhi.
He's 31. He's like 31 too. So he's like, it's over.
So I mean, talk to me, Marty. Like Kamara, like he's done. Like what's up? Like what's up with that? Like y'all trading him or like?
I mean, might as well. Like we should have got the Christian McCaffrey kind of thing going. Like we should just trade him for picks. Try to recoup on something. We need a quarterback. We don't have a quarterback.
You don't like
Crabtree?
Like
you know what?
I tried with Jameis. I tried. I was hoping maybe like Aaron Brooks 2.0 kind of thing.
I think signing Andy Dalton is going to be helpful. You know, Jameis can stay healthy, and you know they're kind of almost the same guy to a certain degree. But at least you got a suitable backup, and not throwing Taysom Hill out there. I think the question that you're going to have to really deal with is what's next, because you guys traded a lot of your picks, right? You guys don't have a lot of picks.
Yeah, it made no sense. You traded it all for win now, and then Sean Payton left.
You were exactly right with the Alvin Kamara thing, because I think you would have got more for Alvin Kamara than you would for a Christian McCaffrey. And in saying that, you do have to make up for losing those picks, because it's looking dire right now, and you don't have much help on the way. And like you said, with those quarterbacks, Jameis is the backup for the rest of the year, even when healthy. So it's not looking good. Not a good thing, you know. In your defense, you won 24-0 on a good Raiders team last week. So you know, I always look at lately, man, because you can't go back. It's week by week. If you had a 24-0 week, take that and build on it, and you know you might have something cooking here. But you know overall it just doesn't look good. You do have some young talent in Chris Olave. I love him to death. You know, you got a stout defense. You know, you got something to deal with. It just depends on what you can do in free agency at this point.
Hey man, I knew Marty. I ain't gonna hold you, son. Like the way I knew it was over for y'all when Sean Payton tried to get that bullshit off with Taysom Hill at quarterback. I was like, I know he didn't just say that he about to start this nigga at quarterback. No, but no, really think about this. Sean Payton sat his ass in front of reporters and defended, nah, we're going to start Taysom Hill. And that shit crashed and burned. And then when Sean Payton left, I was like, oh, no, Sean Payton, he about to just, all right, well, it was nice seeing y'all, so I'm going to go give me a nice job somewhere else where I can actually win. This cupboard is bare. The whole Drew Brees stuff, I can't even hold y'all, Martin, because it's like the way that y'all's seasons after season after season ended, it just always felt like disappointment after disappointment where we
never got over Minnesota.
Minnesota man.
That Stephon Diggs, I still hate him. Like still.
Yeah,
that was like that was it. That was our year. That was our best shot to like get the second one. And just now we're gonna be waiting.
A lot of y'all fans do be blaming the refs, man. And it wasn't only like the refs. They gave y'all a whole another quarter after that thing. To get right.
His granddaddy.
Yeah.
But man, so let me ask you this, man. So we asked Rob the same question. Let me ask you this: NFL season. Besides your Saints, what are like your top 2-3 things that storylines, players, or just things that got your attention right now in the NFL?
I guess I've been hearing stuff about like just like how the passing's down or whatever in the league, and just like watching the offenses, like everybody's running, but it's like you got receivers running, you got running backs running, and it's like it's a combination of old school football. I'm like, I kind of liking the change up. It's not the same arena football shit every year. It's a nice change of pace at least so far.
I felt like there's been a little more physicality on the defensive side as well this year.
Yeah, it's like they're letting them play a little more. Like,
yeah.
Except for the quarterbacks, you can't even tackle them.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can clearly tackle Tua. I mean, apparently, but
everybody
can tackle him. But
I can't watch him. I'm scared for him.
That's a good one. Shit, I mean, who's even you're not worried about the Falcons beating y'all for the division, man? You're not worried about them with Mario?
That division is like it's like, what is anyone doing in that division? Like we're just going to lose to the Vikings in the playoffs. That's what's going to happen. It's like I don't know.
Kind of a broken.
I just want to win a Super Bowl over just like sucking and like the division's trash.
Hey man, Dallas ain't got one. Dallas ain't had a Super Bowl since Pac died. Like, come on, man, y'all got one at least since 2009, right?
Yeah, but like we had the team. It just hurts knowing you should have won and like never getting over that. Is like you had another chance again and just couldn't do it again. It's like and knowing I'm never gonna have a team that good ever probably again. Probably.
When do you think? Let me ask you this: what if you could only pick one year outside of 2009? What was the year that I don't care what anyone says, like Marty, you stand on it, like stamp it 1,000%. Like this was the year we should have won the Super Bowl. What was the year for you that you think the Saints should have, no questions asked, won the Super Bowl?
That Vikings year. So what year is that?
2018, 18? Yeah, 18.
Yeah, like
that was the Eagles year.
Yeah, like Breeze was still okay enough where it's like, okay, he's not like his shot of the last couple of years, and we were just like holding off. So like we still had a good offense, and our defense was young, and Cam Jordan was good. We had a shot that year. Just we had the Vikings game. The worst thing that ever happened is like I remember watching that live and just the worst, but that was our one shot. It's never happened again. And I'm gonna be like my dad, rooting for a terrible team for all my life.
Hey man, the Saints gonna be good again, man. The talent is gonna be there.
I don't know. Saints were bad for a hot minute.
Yeah.
I don't think the NFL will I don't think they'll let them be bad for that long, man. The NFL will step in and give them somebody good.
I just want a young quarterback, honestly. If I just get if I get like a young quarterback to root for, I'd be happy.
Oh, but Jameis has made sure that this is the last Negro you will ever see in a Saints uniform. This was get a good look. Get a great look at this.
I mean, all the black quarterbacks in college now, like we're gonna get another one. It's gonna be like the dude from Tennessee, maybe, I don't know, maybe a second round pick.
Malik Hooker.
Yeah, maybe.
I can see that. All right, man. Well, you got some other thoughts for us, man? We about to wrap up the show, but
no, I just want to come on one time. Love the show. Obviously, I'm always here in the chat and shit. So just
for sure, man. Appreciate you,
sure.
Marty.
Nick needs to show up to a call in though. He got to answer for some of his stuff though. Like Nick needs to show up one day.
For sure. No, definitely. We gonna get Spike and B on here more probably in the winter months and whatnot too. So
yeah, we'll make. I'll make it happen.
All right. Appreciate y'all.
All right, gang.
All right. Appreciate you, man.
All right, so I'm gonna read these super chats and then we'll call it a night.
Hey Ken, real quick, did you see Rashad Bateman is out for the year?
Get out for real?
Yeah, Rashad Bateman is done for the year too. He having foot surgery.
Damn.
No, I did not see that. Damn. That's the second year that's gone, right? Damn.
Yeah.
That's bad, bro.
Man.
We them boys. The media want Kyrie to cry in front of the camera.
Yeah, like Van Jones? this is you ought to understand. This is the greatest thing that any man when you live in America. Shut up, nigga. Like all that, like
yeah,
like,
they got the wrong Negro. That's not gonna happen. Kyrie is not the one.
Bro, they had Van Jones crying like the type of cry when he couldn't get his breath. He was like, like come on, bro. Like what?
Yeah. Tracy G. So Kyrie had to pay $500,000, suspended for 5 days, and no one in the media said what was anti-Semitic about the damn movie, about the darn movie, the movie. That is a good point. I did read what the issues were, but that's me. I took that upon myself. You don't really have to state specifically what the reasons are in this day and age. Unless you say the N-word, then people want to actually know that you said the N-word. But everything
else.
Did you say it
twice on Sunday? Did you say it with a hat on? Did you say it like everything? Come on, bro.
Yeah. So, but at least he got his money back. Tracy G, we need to put Joel, Kawhi, and AD on the boat super early.
Yep. No cap. No cap.
Oh man, that's a shame too. It's a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Question to the panel: do you guys think if Kyrie was not an all-star and just a rotational player, would he have been released for the situation? Yes,
100%.
He would have been blackballed and released like Kaepernick.
Yeah, 100%.
People were bringing up Myers Leonard in the chat because and there's your example right there.
Scrub.
We ain't seen him since. So he probably
and also I really wish people would stop saying that like Myers Leonard was also like on multiple game chats where niggas was using the N, like white people were using the N-word and shit and he's laughing like stuff like it's not the equivalent, dude. Like Kyrie watching or posting a link to a documentary that has misinformation in it, to me, is nowhere near the same of an offense. And especially when you disavow that information, it's nowhere near the same as like literally being friends, hanging around, and posting that shit and laughing when people are using slurs like the K word and the N word. Come on, bro, stop.
Yeah, you make a good point. It's not like Kyrie was saying these things. And Kyrie did say there were some things that he didn't agree with
in the
or
book
that were questionable. He didn't name what those things were, but he was very clear that there were some things he didn't agree with. But in Myers Leonard's situation, he was the actual one saying this stuff. So, but yeah. Tracy G, I agree, Q. I stand with Kanye, Kyrie, and MA. All right. Black to stop.
We here, Tracy. We here.
This was early on. This is not going to happen now, but I feel it. If Lovey win this game, he's better than Tomlin. That will no longer happen. That game is over now.
Even if he had, he would not be better than Tomlin.
I'll live for her takes, bro. It's just because I can just Tracy. I don't know what you look like. I don't know, but I just imagine like some black woman holding a coffee mug, just being like just typing everything like, "Yep, he got to get traded." Like, you know what I mean? Just like this nigga got to go. Like she just like these niggas need to hear about this. Like, you know what I mean? Just one of them. I love it.
Yeah. Let's see. Woo Young, my 22-year bid to a Dan Snyder team coming to an end. Get him out of here.
Yes, sir. We didn't mention that. We didn't mention that earlier, but he's already hired a bank to sell the team. I was reading the article, which I didn't get to even read it. I take that back. I was not reading. I pulled up an article to read right before the show, saying why sell now? Like, what is his reasoning behind it? And then went into detail. So I'm gonna have to go back and read that. But yeah, he is selling now, which is a good thing. It's time for him to go.
And they're talking about Bezos and Jay-Z are in talks right now. Which shout out to Duce. Okay.
Let's talk about the good teams. How about the 7-0 Bucks and the 6-1 Cavs so far this season? Do you guys think Giannis can win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year for a second time? And is Garland and Mitchell the best backcourt in the league?
Yes, because Klay is cooked, and I think that Giannis can definitely win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. I think it's very much so in play for him because I believe last year Jokic has reached his threshold for the media felt like he's been disrespected, right? The media needed to give him his 2 MVPs, same way they did for Nash. So now you can never question it, right? But now it's time to get back to who is the most dominant player in the league, who's the bully on the block. And it's Giannis, yo. The way he affects the game on both ends of the floor, I can see it in his future this season. The way he's playing right now, it's historic, man. The way he can just turn it on and turn it off. He has the matrix unlocked, man.
Yes, and he deserves it, regardless of how you stack it up. And he's not getting a lot of attention right now on a grand scale because people are looking at other things. Joker had a triple-double tonight, for example. People are looking at Joker, and we talked about it the other day. They're looking at Luka. Luka has set a record for the most 30-point games to begin a season. Well, not most, but he's up there. It's like only 3 or 4 other players that's done what he's done. But at the same time, there's nobody that's doing what Giannis is doing, period. So he deserves both those awards right now. He does. And Garland and Mitchell, I agree with you. They are the best backcourt right now. Garland just got back, but we're going to see what he can do from injury. But I think everything's going to be gravy for them. That was the best move that could have ever been made.
I was so happy for them, man. The minute that they made that trade, I was like, Cleveland is going to be great because this fulfills that scoring need. And also another player I didn't even add in when FIFO asked me, were they better than Detroit? Karis LeVert had 41 a couple of days ago to match Donovan Mitchell's 41. They had 82 between them two.
Right. And you had a team with play-in experience that got that little taste last year.
Yep.
And then you bring in a vet with play-off experience.
50 piece in the bubble.
Yes. So you got a guy like that to add to this group that's already talented out of this world. I mean, you got everything in place for it to be set for a long time.
And adding in Mitchell doesn't stunt Mobley or Garland's growth, actually.
Right. It actually enhances them. So
I would be worried if they brought in like an Anthony Davis or if they brought in like a Kevin Durant. I'm like, this is very centric around those guys. Like if they brought in like a Dame or something, I'm like, Dame needs the ball a lot to be effective. Garland, he can still pass, play off the ball, and Donovan Mitchell can get his thing going when he just go into the rim and he can do the ISO, blah 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 blah. But they fit each other so well; they're like puzzle pieces. And then you had in those two bookend bigs. Mobley's more so the offensive guy. Allen's the defensive guy. It's just they've built this roster and they cashed in perfectly. So
great
question.
Quickly, they cashed in quickly.
In 2 seasons, in like 2 seasons, bro.
Getting LeVert was the steal for me. I love LeVert and what he brings to the table.
And by the way, we called that. Me and Sheldon called that on Dead in Sports. We called the fact that Cleveland needs to go get we said the word Karis LeVert and he go get a guy Karis LeVert for help scoring off the bench. You can check that episode. Yes. I'll find that timestamp.
Is Giannis the modern Hakeem? Absolutely not. Stop, man. Let Giannis be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you, kid. I'm with you, kid. And the closest thing to Hakeem was Joel Embiid, but nobody's Hakeem.
And to be honest, that's not even looking as close as it once did anymore.
Right.
He almost had it, bro.
Yeah, but the only reason I said it was the footwork and the moves that he has. But he went away from.
But the body.
He went away from his strengths and started trying to be more perimeter, more ball, trying to do what these guys are doing. You can't do this. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to see some other rap group try to be the Migos, some rap group from New York.
Yeah.
Be you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. He's trying to.
I don't want to see Drake try to be West Side Gun. You know what I mean? Like
right.
That shit. Like I don't want to hear that shit, bro. I don't want to hear that. Like, come on, bro. I don't want to hear that shit, bro.
Perfect
so it's
example.
Like with Joel, same shit, bro. Joel got to be. Don't get me started. Just get your ass on the block, dude.
That was the last one. So that's it, man. Good show.
Yeah, real quick, one more thing, real quick before we go. I'm sorry for doing this, but I seen that some of y'all were talking about Miles Bridges did plead. He agreed.
No contest.
No contest. So he agreed to a deal. He won't have jail time. We'll see what that means for him going forward because I'm sure he's going to be suspended. He's probably going to be suspended for the year at least. So we'll see what happens. And
they gave him 3 years probation, no jail time. If we're doing rapid fire topics, Klay Thompson looks cooked. We're going to touch on that on Tuesday or Thursday.
Did you hear him answer Barkley?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, where he was really emotional. And I feel him though. I feel bad, because I think he will be able to get some of his athleticism back, but it's not going to be anywhere near the same dude. I think it's over for that Warrior / brother duo. I think they're going to have to make a trade. I think Draymond should stay. I think Klay should be the one to go. Actually, he's too much of a liability now on offense and defense.
He had 27 tonight, but
didn't they lose to the Magic? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Magic, shout out to the Magic, man. But
yeah.
that's all I got.
Yeah, I like Paolo.
Sorry about that.
And right now, Astros up 2-1 over the Phillies. But we'll see how long that lasts. It's bottom of the 7th, so it's still a long way to go in that game. If you
Go Phillies.
So, but big game tonight, tied 2-2.
Go Phils.
Yep. So, all right. Well, we'll catch you guys Tuesday, and we out. Peace.
Peace.